She actually gave us our topic for today. How many of you have, has anybody heard of this rapper named Cash Doll? There's a rapper named Cash Doll, and Cash Doll became the topic of our discussion today, not because I'm out here trying to just go make fun of anybody or make anybody feel bad about who they are or their choices or anything, but I thought it would be a good economic lesson, just a good little factoid, little couple chance to kind of pop in and kind of talk through some things. And so anyway, there was this clip that I saw because I like to stroll these Twitter streets, and I still call it Twitter. I don't care if Elon calls it X. It's Twitter. And I saw this image, and it was in one of the magazines, one of the hip hop magazines, where they showed this lady at a basketball game wiping her nose with a $20 bill, right? Just sort of I guess it's maybe that's a flex, right? I got so much money that even my boogers are paid. Like my booger, I got rich boogers or something, and that's cool. No problem. I mean, she's probably younger than me, so that's a thing, right? When you're young, you kind of do stuff, right? You do stuff to kind of show off, and in hip hop, there's a whole culture of kind of like financial excess, kind of like look at me, I'm flexing, I'm we call it stunting and flossing and all that. Now they got other words for it, I'm sure. And um and I get it. I totally get it. And so here's the thing. So as I think about this rapper who wiped her nose with a $20 bill, I was thinking about something that I wanted to bring up to you guys. I want to ask you all this question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you know how disgusting money actually is? Like just on a physical level. How many of you know how many of you have ever heard people talk about how much bacteria is on a dollar bill? Like did anybody, and you should know this just because like when you get kids and they like money and they want to lick the penny and stuff because they just so happy to get money. And I just thought it would be interesting to kind of like just kind of lay out a couple factoids, just something to kind of think about in terms of understanding just why I just literally vomited in my mouth when I saw her wipe her nose with that $20 bill. And then also, believe it or not, you're gonna think this is crazy, but there's actually financial theory regarding why we don't care. Right? We don't care how nasty money is. We don't care, how much we don't care that it has more bacteria on it than a toilet seat, right? We don't care about that, right? And people will do that. Like you go to Instagram and you'll see people. Go to Instagram right now. There's probably somebody that's like, got money all over their bed, which means they're gonna be sleeping. The bacteria is they're gonna be cuddling up with the amoebas and all the germs and everything, and or they got the money on their ear, or they're licking the money, right? And it's just nasty. Like you're gonna catch you're gonna catch the cooties like that. Like there's cooties on that money, and in fact, actually, I got some stats just so you, in case you don't believe me about how nasty and disgusting money is. So again, with this rapper Cash Doll, this is nothing about her or her rapping skill or anything like that. It sounds like she's good because she's on the cover. If you're in magazines, that means you obviously did something to get some good attention or some kind of attention. And so let me just kind of give you some stats on that in terms of just how disgusting money actually is and why if she sees this video, somebody tell her, somebody probably know, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. If you talk to your friend Cash Doll, just tell her like don't be wiping your nose with money because it's nasty. Actually, dollar bills have more bacteria than a household toilet seat. We mentioned that earlier. So if you lick 'em- if you lick money, you should go lick a toilet. That you'd be better off going to like maybe a bathroom in New York City and just get nice and wet, go all around the whole toilet seat. Um, there's also more germs on a dollar bill than there are on the bottom of a shoe. So if somebody comes in your house and they got their shoes on, and if you've been, touching money, putting it on your nose, or laying it on your bed, or whatever it is, just go lick their shoe. That you'd be safer that way. Licking the bottom of someone's shoe is better. It's dirtier than a dog's mouth. Dogs' mouths have a lot of germs and bacteria. It's filthier than like a pole in the subway. So that's another safer option. I'm just giving you safe options, right? That'll upgrade your lifestyle a little bit. So let's see here. let's see, it's worse than a public bathroom door handle, comparable to the bacteria on a kitchen sponge, and those are nasty. You know how the kitchen sponge get on. Oh, also, did y'all know this? How many of y'all knew this? Tell me if you know this. That literally money. This is why you got when you touch money, you gotta wash your hands. They said money actually has traces of cocaine, the drug, and fecal matter. Fecal matter. That's the stuff that comes out your butt. In case you don't know what fecal matter is. So literally, money is nasty. Money's just real nasty. Now, here's the thing. I'm not here to make anybody to ridicule anybody. I'm not here to shame nobody because I'm sure Cash Doll, she's probably young. I don't know. I had to Google it, like how old is Cash Doll? But she's probably in her 20s. And when I was in my 20s, we did stupid stuff when we were kids too. Like a lot of us, like let's just be honest. Like how many of y'all did weird stuff like back then where you're like, oh my God, dude, why would I do that? Right? Everybody does this, right? So I'm not making fun of her at all. In fact, she gained popularity for mixtape singles. One was called "Ice Me Out," which is a financial statement. Sound I like money, materialism, right? That's kind of the thing, right? It's funny. Like the one thing that's funny, it's fascinating to me as a financial guy is how many of our young people really are obsessed with money and getting money and I get money, look at how I get money, but they're not as equally interested in learning how to get money. Like my thought is like, well, if you really want to get money, then you should get training on how to get money. And anything that you want, you should practice getting it. That's how you win. Like if I say I want to score touchdowns, I should probably learn how to score touchdowns. I should probably learn how to play football, right? If I say I want to build a building. I should learn how to do architecture or construction. If I say I want to meet girls, I got ladies that love me. I should probably go learn. Like you can go study these things, right? And here's the thing, right? Don't act like that's nerdy. Like some people think that that's nerdy. When I'm like, well, if I want to learn how to do something, I go either read a book on it, watch some videos. Like don't. That's not nerdy. There's nothing nerdy about knowledge and learning, right? Nobody wants to be stupid, right? Can we at least agree that we don't want to be go through life as a pack of dumbasses and uninformed and a day late and a dollar short? Can we at least agree on that? Like whoever decided that reading books was white or that getting knowledge was white? That's kind of crazy, right? So there's nothing nerdy about it. And the reason I'm gonna tell you that that it's not nerdy and that it's very common. We do this already. What's interesting to me is that when I go to a person, not everybody, but some people in my own community, and I say, well, if you want to learn how to get money, you should study money, get financial literacy. They'll think that is maybe they'll think I'm being uppity or I'm being judgmental or you're a professor, so you don't understand regular people. Okay, fine, I get that. Maybe professors are not regular people. I think that I am a regular person, but maybe I'm not. I have no idea. I'm not, definitely not normal. I'm a highly abnormal person in certain ways. But here's the thing. When that white man tells you to go and get like a certification to go get a job working for him, you'll go study that. Like some of y'all went to college for 4 whole years studying nothing but how to go work for white people. That's what you did. Like you'll go study for that. Like you'll go, or if you want to be a nurse's aide or something and you got to get a certification to do that, you'll go get that. Right? Um, and really when you're scrolling through Instagram, you're studying culture. You're taking in what's trendy. You're studying what the fashion styles are, what people are wearing, what people are doing. You're always studying. Your brain, there's never a time when your brain is not on. The question becomes like, what are you feeding the brain? You're feeding your brain all day long, pretty much. Either something that's repetitive, which builds these habits, or you're feeding it some information that's going to inform you on something that you care about. And what you care about might be, uh, w- you know, how do I get what's the coolest new iPhone that's out here? Um, where can I go get a pair of Jordans? Where can I go find a girl that I can go have sex with? Where can I, what time do I have to go to work so I can get money so I can go buy me whatever it is I have to buy? Eventually, it gets into other things, maybe your kids or your family, right? So your brain is always on. You're always taking in information. You're always studying. You're always learning, whether you know it or not. So to me, the things that you want to study and learn are things that are going to help you, things that are going to put you where you want to be. So to me, if money matters, which it does, why not study that as much as we study everything else? And the other thing too is when you think about what this lady did, this Cash Doll rapper, that's her name, Cash Doll. where she took the $20 bill and she's wiping her nose with it, with all the bacteria, again, more bacteria than a human toilet seat. That's what the studies say, that a dollar bill has all kinds of traces of drugs and crap on it, all kinds of like literal crap, not figure. This is not figurative. This is not a metaphor. Like it's literally like feces, right? So if you're doing that, right, the question would go to the next level. Here's the next part of this question I want to ask you is what would make us, if I tell you this, like if I say, you know, um, a dollar bill has more germs than the bottom of a human foot, but yet you can go on Instagram at any given moment and see somebody licking money, throwing money on their bed, hold money up like it's a phone, bacteria right up here all on your face. Um, what allows the cognitive dissonance to occur? Cognitive dissonance is where you do something that just doesn't make any sense, basically, where your mind tells you one thing, but your actions are doing something different, right? Or maybe I tell you something that where it almost might offend you, or just kind of seem awkward in that moment because money just seems so good. Money is like, but it's money though. It's money, right? And really, if you want to know how deep this goes for me, is that I think that the reason we'll go lick a dollar bill or whatever it is, and it's the same reason that people will go like sleep with somebody that they know probably has 200 STDs because he's had sex with 3,000 women, but you don't care because he's a Hollywood superstar. He's LL Cool J or something, and you're excited to get into bed with a man that, has literally had the bacteria of two, three, 400 women in his body, but you don't care about that. You ain't thinking about diseases and HIV and nothing. You're thinking about how good that person looks. Or that girl. You're not thinking that, okay, she's been a stripper for 14 years, and selling her body on the side. Um, so she was doing OnlyFans before OnlyFans existed, right? Where you actually showed up at somebody's house and they were your only fan. And but yet you don't care. Why is that? Well, because there's something there's a positive that outweighs the negative in your mind, right? The fact that this is something that's triggering your dopamine levels and you're excited about it, that makes you forget about the nasty part of it. Believe it or not, like these scholars, you got to give scholars credit. They study everything. So they literally, I was literally researching this, like, why do we do things that we know are not helpful or not good? But yet we still will do those things. And maybe it's because there's something good on the other side of it, right? Like if you talk to any drug addict, a lot of drug addicts, like somebody might be a crackhead, and sometimes the crackhead can tell you more about the damage of the drug than you can. Like they'll be like, yeah, well, this stuff will kill you because it stops your heart and it can do this and it can do that, but they still want to go for the crack. Or you think about a toxic relationship where the high that you receive from being with that person, from it's usually connected to sex. Sex is very powerful. That's why I think people, I really, just me being Uncle Boyce for a minute, I think that that sex kind of deceives us. I think sex is such a powerful, it's like launching a nuclear weapon inside your body that it's very dangerous and you have to handle it with care, and I don't think we handle that with care. I don't think we take it seriously enough. And so people make a lot of sexual mistakes. If you look at people's lives and they say, gosh dang it, I messed up, a lot of times it's because of sex, right? You slept with the wrong person, and then they'll do crazy things like drink and have sex, which is like drinking and driving, except you're not driving, you're just driving a car, which is pretty dangerous, but you're actually, sharing your body with a person, or you are risking the fact that this person might be your child's father for the next 20 years or for 30 years or 40 years or whatever, right? It's not logical, right? Well, why is that? Well, because if you're thinking in an instant gratification kind of way, like if you're thinking about what's going to feel good right now, then you don't really care about what's going to make you feel terrible for the next 40 years, right? You're not thinking about that. You're not thinking like, okay, if I sleep with this horrible person with who has the nice penis or the big booty, if I sleep with this person today, I'm literally going to be miserable from now until the year 2070 if I live that long. Like literally the rest of my life, this person might be the mother of my child or the father of my child. And millions of people go through this. Well, why is that? Well, it's the same reason the cash doll wipes her nose with the $20 bill, right? Despite the fact that the dollar bill has more germs on it than the bottom of someone's foot or the inside of a dog's mouth or a human toilet seat. You do that because there's something attached to that thing that is so powerful that makes you feel so good that you don't even care. You don't even care in the moment. You're just like, got me some money, yo, got that, right. You don't care, right? And so really, so think about this. Professor Andrew Lowe at MIT actually basically explained that money is a drug. Money is it's financial crack. It's a drug. It triggers all the dopamine, all the excitement. Like if I told you right now that there was $1 million in your bank account and that you won the lottery, yeah, and just imagine that for a moment and monitor how your body feels. You'd be like, "Ooh, that would be nice." Or has anybody ever seen this? Tell me, give me a yes or no if you've ever seen this. Remember when this is such a mind trick. It's a mind F. I'm not gonna cuss though, but you can fill in the blank. Um, Anybody remember when they would and they still probably still do it, where when you buy a lottery ticket and they say, so if you win, do you want to receive your money in a lump sum or do you want to receive $50,000 a week for the rest of your life? Right? Anybody, whatever it is, right? Anybody ever notice? Anybody ever seen that? And if I don't know if they still do it or not, because I don't buy lottery tickets because lottery tickets are a terrible investment. But when you look at it like me, I'm a mathematician. We know the probabilities, and it's like, ooh, that's bad. But that's why the parlays do so well with the sports betting sites because people don't do math. They don't know the odds of winning. They just but they might be buying it just because it's fun or whatever, and it's okay. I mean, people buy entertainment all the time. But here's the thing. Um, I want you to look and observe when somebody buys a ticket and they ask them that question. So if you win, do you want your money in a lump sum? Or do you want to get $50,000 a week for the rest of your life? I want you to watch their reaction. Now, first off, think about this. I'm gonna tell you what the reaction is not gonna be. The reaction is not gonna be, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm probably not gonna win because the odds of me winning are like the odds of me getting struck by lightning 14 times on a Tuesday, right? They're not gonna say that. That's too rational. That's nerdy. You're being stop, boys. You just be hating. Okay. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna stop. They're gonna go, oh God, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Let me think about it, right? Like they'll really think about it, like they're really gonna win, and they get it. And what's happening is that's that dopamine triggering. That's the emotional reaction. That's them saying, that's them like imagine because my wife, remember my wife is a badass black woman who happens to have a doctorate well she's in social work, but they study lots of psychology. And she's also obsessed with the subconscious mind. She has this thick book on the subconscious mind. I gotta find out the name of it. And she read the book 3 times. I watched her because she would do it while she's on the exercise bike. And that's why she's so gorgeous too, because she's just is a workout aholic. It's really awesome to watch. Anyway, so one thing that I remember her telling me is that your imagination and your mind doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. That when you imagine something, you're living it. You imagine it, you're like, ooh, I don't know. Or maybe you think about something bad and you think about it and you start getting sad. Like, and then this was what happened, and then right? Whatever, right? Because your brain is like, oh my God, it's happening again. Or, oh wow, that was an amazing thing that just happened to us, right? So basically, this is how the brain works, right? So money, let's go back to just the crux of the discussion. So money can do that, right? So imagining money, having access to money, all these things affect the conscious and subconscious mind. They affect your emotions. And I want to circle back to the original question. The original question is this rapper Cash Doll who wipes her nose at the $20 bill. And this is what she triggered all these thoughts. If she sees this video, she's gonna be like, "Why is this dude talking about me? He hating on me." I'm not. I promise, Cash Doll. I'm not. I've had other rappers think I hate the whole Lizzo thing, where the Lizzo got mad because I said I don't think we should be promoting obesity to the black community since so many people die from it. But y'all seen though, see Lizzo got mad at me and said that, and it became a whole thing like, oh, this sexist black man is attacking this, but her body positivity, and I'm like, ain't nothing positive about being as fat as you can be. There's nothing. I'm not saying that it's bad. Like I love fat. I'm a fat. I'm kind of fat sometimes too, but look at the stats. Black people are dying constantly. So Black Lives Matter. You should want black people to live. But I guess y'all don't. believe Black Lives Matter because you want black people dead, apparently, because you're promoting something that's not healthy. Well, let me just tell you, I'm gonna tell you, Mama Lucy, I think Lizzo agrees with me. Why? Has anybody followed Lizzo in the last year? Has anybody seen Lizzo's transformation? And I love it. Have you seen that? She's promoting a healthy lifestyle now. And look at how much hate she's getting from all the people that were like, no, we liked you when you were a big fat minstrel show. We liked you better when you were embarrassing yourself and embarrassing the community and killing yourself in public. We enjoy that. We need more of that. Well, now you're boring. Now you a black person that wants to be healthy. Nobody wants to see a healthy black person. We want to see toxic behavior. We want to see the black man who wants to shoot himself, get himself shot. We want to see the black woman who wants to be as fat as possible and who literally wants to behave like the minstrel show. That's what they like. They love white people will always love a minstrel show. And I'm sorry, I have to say it like this. I'm a black man first, and that ain't never gonna change. They like the minstrel show. So if you're making money, if you're getting money, and remember, I'm an expert on money. I'm not the person who just says, "Oh, you getting money? That must be okay. That congratulations, dog." No, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna be like, "Well, you got money. How did you get it? Oh, you're getting money from wait, oh, white people are giving you this money. And white people used to they really oppressed us for a long time. They don't I don't think they like it. They don't I don't know if they like us that much. They say they do, but I don't know if I believe it. So how did they so, and they gave you how much money? That at that point I'm gonna be like, well, what did you do to get that money? It's okay to make money. Money should not be demonized. That's another thing too. We demonize wealthy people and we think, oh, because you make money, you must be a terrible person. No, I'm not here to do that. I think money is a good thing. Money can provide power and opportunity in your life, but all money ain't good money. All money is not good money. And really one important thing about financial consciousness that I really want you to embrace is to understand that just because somebody's making money does not make them a successful black person. Do you know how many people have a 10 million, $20 million in the bank who have totally lost their soul? Go to any Diddy party and you'll find plenty of people like that. And when they leave that party, their buttholes are sore. They done been through all kinds of hell. They're feeling their self-esteem is at an all-time low. Like that singer said, I forgot her name. She's real talented. She does the alligator thing. She's real good. I forgot her name. She's new. And so your self-worth's at an all-time low. You're because you're living this crazy lifestyle because you're trying to fit in, but you got money in the bank and everyone's congratulating you on all your success. That's when you need to sit back and meditate. You need to sit back and ask yourself, like, okay, why is it that everybody congratulates me for being a successful black person, but I don't feel very good about my life? That means that you lost. You got what in economics they call that the winner's curse. The winner's curse means that it looks like you won, but really you lost. Like you got the man. You and 10 other girls are competing to date this 6'9" athlete who's got 50 million in the bank. So you won the lottery. You got the man. But then your biggest curse is that you got the man. That's your man now. And y'all know that sometimes that man comes with a lot of nasty baggage that you have to now deal with because now you won, but you're cursed because your husband is having sex with 20 women a week or whatever, right? So it's the winner's curse. So winning is not enough. When people say win at all costs and winning is all that matters, no, winning doesn't. No, you want to win the right way and you want to win on multiple levels. There's multiple levels to winning. There's publicly winning, like I won, I look at me, I have all this money. That's good, good, congratulations. But then there's like winning in private where you can sit with yourself and look in the mirror and say, I feel good about my life. I'm happy. I feel healthy. I feel safe. I feel like, good about my choices. Right? So if you can't win on at least two or three levels, then you really haven't won. You might have the winner's curse. So you got to be real careful about that. Now, before I move on, I actually want to lean into some psychology theories as to why this lady wanted to pick her nose with money, or why people lick money or do these crazy things with money, even though money has, more bacteria than, like if you lick the subway pole in New York City. But before I do that, I want to remind everybody of a couple of things. Number one, The Economic Elevation Summit is going to happen in Miami the weekend of May 9th. And so you may want to go ahead and lock in your hotel. It's a really nice hotel. And it's and also we're going to be there for the whole weekend, and it's going to be all of us. You guys are the ones I'm inviting the most. I'm not really inviting like outside people because I want people there that you can build with, people there that are qualified and trained, that have been, coming to class, that really understand the mission and the purpose, that are not scared to be black, that are looking to actually actively take action and build wealth. It's about moving. You got to make movement, and you got to be with people that want to move also. So if you want to join us, you can go to economicelevationsummit.com. That's economicelevationsummit.com. Another thing that's happening is Andre C. Hatchett, who is an old friend of mine. We've been buddies for about 13 years. I love Andre. He's basically showing some stuff on how to make money as a mobile notary. He's the one, I think, the best mobile notary expert that I know that I've ever seen. And apparently there's a lot of money you can make just by dropping documents to people's houses so they can sign them. I've had to use notaries myself on many occasions, and the idea of a mobile notary being around is actually good because then I can save time. They can come to my house and notarize documents for me as opposed to me having to go somewhere. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll send you all a link where you can join him tomorrow. He's doing a study hall tomorrow, Sunday. Sorry, not tomorrow. Sorry, it's tonight actually, tonight. So I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you after class. If you want to get on the text list and get that link, text the word morning to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948, and I will send you the link if you want to join Andre. Now, with that said, let's talk about a few more specifics on money, financial psychology, money mindset in terms of why somebody might do something like that that doesn't make sense. That creates cognitive dissonance. Like, why are you licking money even though it has all these germs? Um, so one theory relates to the symbolic value of money versus the physical reality. So there's some notes here I took. Basically, a lot of people will look over the nastiness of money and in the like no one wants to lick a toilet seat, right? Because the money has more germs than a toilet seat. But it's a lot of it is not just because it's because you detach mentally from the physical reality of that thing. What you're actually connecting to is the symbolism of that thing. And Lord Jesus knows that we love some symbolism, don't we? Look at the politics. The politicians, they're like, no, why would we give them something of substance when we can just give them symbolism? And so what symbolism, what symbolically does money represent? Well, money represents status, it represents power, it represents freedom, it represents success. And that's why you see rappers flaunting money all the time. And unfortunately, it's sending a signal of your success, but I don't necessarily know if it's an intrinsic measure of your internal belief that you're actually successful. Most successful people that I know don't need others to validate their success. They don't need to brag about their success. A lot of times, if you're in a fake it till you make it sort of mindset, then what happens is that you if you're bragging about your success, that kind of says that you need others to know about it and you need others to validate it. Now, again, I want to make this clear. I'm not making fun of that rapper Cash Doll at all, at all. I don't know much about her music. I'm going to take a listen to it. So I want to be clear. If anybody's a Cash Doll fan, don't think that I'm attacking her. I'm only bringing it up because I saw the video where she wiped her nose with the money, and I thought this is interesting. Okay, there's money. What's happening here? And I thought that would be an interesting like sort of financial stuff. So I want to make that clear. So just be clear about that. So a lot of times what happens too is that there's something called symbolic interactionism, where you will see something you'll see more of what something represents than what it actually is. And that might be, for example, why a woman might date a man who is, think about it, if you see a beautiful woman with a really ugly, obese man, and then you might be confused at first, like, well, those two shouldn't be together. What's going on here? And then when you find out he's a billionaire, you're like, oh, I get it now. That makes perfect sense. Of course he would have that woman next to him because he's a billionaire, right? So there's the symbolism versus the actual substance. And I'm not saying one is always better than the other. Both of them matter, but I think when you let symbolism overwhelm substance, then that's when you get into these sort of very unhealthy, toxic interactions. There's also something called contamination by association, which would be related to effective forecasting and emotional contagion. So basically, normally touching something that's nasty or dirty would actually disgust you, but money actually transfers a type of energy, a status energy, where your brain kind of associates the money with various rewards and control. So what it does is it kind of mutes your original response, right? It mutes that, right? So even though you might know that this dollar bill has more bacteria than a dog's mouth, but you don't care because you're picking up on the symbolic energy of the status and everything else that comes with the money. There's also theories in evolutionary psychology where basically on an instinctual level, human beings have always sought out access to resources, right? So there's like ancient parts of the brain that that might not just cause you to do something like that, like touch money, lick it, or whatever it is, or put it on your bed. Like 50 Cent, the rapper 50 Cent had he wrote the word broke in $100 bills on his bed, right? And but also it's the same thing that might cause you to chase a toxic mate that has high status, right? So ultimately you rationalize the risk because the payoff of that risk, the risk reward trade-off is so high. So you say, yeah, um, he slept with 3,000 women, so he probably has an STD, but it's okay because at least I'll be connected to a millionaire, right? Some people maybe, and I don't even know if people even go through that logic per se, but that's literally the logic that's the trade-off that you're making, which is kind of a crazy one, but you see it happen all the time. No one even thinks about this. They don't even, they don't process any, it's so crazy to me. Um, anyway, let's keep going. There's also something in hip hop. They've always leaned on something called social proof, and social proof, cultural glorification. That pretty much, if you go into a lot of music videos, first thing they'll do is they'll usually show you something that sends a signal of the culture that they come from. And usually for rappers, the male rappers especially, it'll be it'll be like a fancy car with like women in bikinis, and maybe I'll have a weapon next to me to show you that I'm not a punk, that I'll kill you if you try to hurt me. Maybe some drugs and a big stack of money, and then maybe I'll do something that's perceived as hyper masculine, like smoking a cigar or some weed or just whatever, right? It's all kind of the same little package, and it's fine. I mean, I don't care about how people want to carry themselves, but I think that what this unfortunately does is it creates this very, very toxic image of the black male and really honestly makes us look very weak and superficial. Like we can't be intellectuals, we can't be quality human beings, we can't be decent people because all we're thinking about is getting money and having lots of sex and shooting each other up, selling dope and whatever, right? So a lot of this stuff, this is social proof. Social proof is where you're indicating a social status, and unfortunately with hip hop you almost have to do that because they just sort of, when the CIA, and I'm just going to say it as a fact now because I believe this is what happened. When the CIA saw that hip hop was influencing black people on such a high level, they said, we do not want black people to be influenced to become political, because Public Enemy came out with Fight the Power. And if you remember the Fight the Power video, what did they have in that video? Anybody remember that video? How many of y'all remember the Fight the Power video? Anybody? There was in that video, there was thousands of black people in the streets with their fist up, fighting the power, fight the power, fight the power. That probably was a catalyst to them saying, okay, we got to stop this. We have to shut this down. No differently from when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X had thousands of people in the street doing the same thing, maybe 20, 15, 20 years ago. Same thing, right? So Malcolm and Martin are pulling thousands of black people in the street, getting them organized and saying, "Hey, let's go get what's ours." And Martin's talking about we coming to pick up our checks. Don't nobody hear black people talking about we coming to pick up our check. They want you to come out and say Black Lives Matter. We're marching with that's what they want. They want you to be the controlled opposition. They don't want you to actually be a true opposition, right? So when that happens, right, they're like, oh, well, Martin and Malcolm, okay, but let's put some crack in the community so that they'll all get distracted by the drugs. So they'll either get hooked on the drugs, they'll go to prison over the drugs, they'll get killed over the drugs, or they'll be traumatized traumatized from watching people get killed and sent to prison or whatever. So and then on top of that, the extra added bonus, which I don't know if they planned this or not, is the complete total annihilation and destruction of the black family unit, which is actually typically the cultural headquarters for most young people. It was up until a certain point. Now that's all been kind of just blown to smithereens for a lot of families, except for those families that are conscious of what happened and are consciously countering all of that, right? Who are consciously saying, no, we're going in a different direction. But then I think 20, 30 years later, when you're starting to sort of pull people together again in Public Enemy, Chuck D, friend of mine, I like Chuck a lot. I haven't seen him for many years, but we follow each other on Twitter and stuff. So Chuck D, sees all this and he incorporates that into the music. Next thing you know, if anybody remembers hip hop in the early '90s, you remember two groups that stood out in my mind were Public Enemy and X Clan. If you remember X Clan created a lot of black pride. They really had a lot of young black people that wanted to be black and African and learn about history. KRS-One actually had a song called "You Must Learn," and he literally did black history in a hip hop song, and it was a great song. It was brilliant, and I think they were like, we got to put a stop to this. And on top of that, you have sort of the Biden crime bill where they're like, okay, these prisons, we got these for-profit prisons. How do we fill them up? We can't run commercials on TV for prisons. We can't say, hey, come to our prison. We'll get you raped only once a week or whatever, right? They're not gonna, they can't run an ad for that. So instead, they say, well, let's advertise that through the music. Let's advertise that through the most powerful form of influence on young black males that exists and young black females as well. And I think that's when they sort of took hip hop and swung it in a different direction. Like all the people that, if you look at the people that own the hip hop music industry, that run the record labels, you know who they are. They would never, ever in a million years let you do that to their children. They never. Just even the fact that every other verse in a lot of hip hop songs uses the N word. Right? Even the relatively conscious artists, like say the Kendrick Lamar's, who's extraordinarily talented and performed at the Super Bowl. If you listen to his song about Drake, he literally says the N word like 14 times. Now, people think, oh, you're overreacting. Right? The N word has changed its meaning. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not. I would just ask you this simple question. If he were saying, like, pick whatever derogatory term you would use to describe Jewish people. If he took out the N word and put in a word related to Jews, would he be allowed to do that? Would he be allowed to make that song? Would he be allowed to put that music out? Would he be allowed to perform it at the Super Bowl? Would that be okay? Even if he says, no, 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 what I really meant was no, we're reclaiming the word. We're making it powerful. No, that would, even if it was a Jewish artist, they wouldn't let him do that. And this is the thing. See, what you got to understand is that most communities and cultures have people that are guardians of the culture. They protect the culture. They don't let people contaminate the culture. They don't let you come in and pee in the Kool-Aid. They're not going to let you and then feed the Kool-Aid to the children. Our community, unfortunately, because we're so caught up in integration, we're so caught up in being accepted, we're so caught up in seeking validation, we're so caught up in people liking us and wanting to connect with us and give us things that we will let anybody and everybody come in and influence our kids. We'll let them come in and set up businesses in our neighborhoods. We'll let them come in and take all of our stuff because we're saying, well, you can have whatever you want. Just let me come work for you. Just give me an opportunity. Give me my black job, right? Whatever it is, right? And I don't. And a lot of communities don't do that. The Jewish community doesn't do that. If you look at China, if you go to China, there's certain things in China they will not allow you to promote on the television networks. There's certain ideas and images, like they don't allow images of males pretending to be females. Again, I don't know how you feel about that. It's up to you to make your decision, but they don't promote that. They're like, no, we need our men to be strong and ready to fight and ready to defend China. And the question that you must ask yourself is, collectively speaking, is the black male raised to be smart and strong and defend the black community? Is that how our boys are raised? Because last time I saw, we a lot of times we're raising our boys to be girls. We're raising our boys to be weak. We're raising them to be feminine. We're raising them to be afraid and not accountable for things. Doesn't happen to everybody. Some boys bust out of that. Some boys wake up and they see things on a different level and they say, "No, I'm not doing this." But there's a lot of boys. If you could just see it if you watch if you go to social media and you see some image, let's say you see some video of a black woman getting beat up by a man or something, a lot of times there'll be men standing there holding the cell phones or laughing and watching what happens, like not even getting involved or engaged. But I'm gonna tell you like this. when you have these pockets of quality, pockets of solid men and women, like you go to the Nation of Islam, most of my friends from the Nation of Islam would never allow that to happen. Most of the men from the nation who listen to men like Farrakhan and others, and I know guys from the nation all around the country because I know the minister and I've supported the nation for many, many years. So everywhere I go, I see men from the nation, and there's always respect. There's always a standard there. There's always a brand. There's a brand, right? You know how that guy's going to dress. You know how he's going to speak. You know how he's going to carry himself. You know how he's going to respond to the nonsense and buffoonery, right? So this is a training. This is training. This is what I'm saying is that the question that I think that has to be asked is what's the standard, and are we training kids to have standards, or do we go in that direction where people have no standards, where they say it's wrong and it's judgmental and you're being uppity when you have standards? I've been accused of being uppity on many occasions when I say, hey, this is a space for intelligent black people. You don't have to be intelligent. You just got to value intelligence. I've had people, I've been, I've had to withstand a lot of, I'm talking about that basketball player, Kwame Brown, I think. Yeah, he did 11 straight videos about me. They got probably 2, 3 million views where he was calling me uppity and everything else. And I was like, there's nothing uppity about being intelligent. Brother, I think you should probably come talk to me and I will look you in your eye and we will talk about this because this behavior that we are accepting is really unacceptable behavior. You cannot sit and accept things that you know are unacceptable. You know things are unacceptable. You know certain things are like what like why would you just co-sign on anything and everything that you see? Well, I know why you do that. Partly it's because when someone stands up and pokes their head out and says, I don't like that, stop doing that. Oh, you know that somebody's gonna come try to chop your head off. For example, when I again, if I might reference back to the whole Lizzo thing that was really interesting, is I said I have statistics and data and facts to show you how many black people die from obesity, and why it's a contradiction for you to say you care about black people, yet you let the record label convince you that we want to tell everybody that it's okay to be overly promiscuous and obese. Right? All these are excesses that are going to be very costly to you, and I'm concerned about this being promoted to young girls. And the biggest thing that happened, so Lizzo claps back. She says something to me on Twitter or whatever, and I didn't pay attention. I'm not going to argue with somebody that's young enough to be my daughter. So I just kind of said, well, I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings, but these are the facts. This is what my father did. My father would say things, and he didn't care if I had liked it or not. He would just tell me what was right and what was wrong, and I had to listen. But then the second thing that happened was the white media, mostly white liberal media, who they don't believe in standards. They went on the warpath for her. They wrote probably. I think that the Associated Press, which covers thousands of outlets around the world, they all had the same piece that basically was framed as, this sexist black man attacks Lizzo for whatever, right? This black man, and what that did was that fed into this constant narrative that black women, you're safer not with your own men. Your own men are bad for you. You need to be over here with white folks. You need to go and do like the Meghan Markle and marry Prince Harry. You need to go and disconnect because your men are bad and terrible, right? Which is just as bad as those men who think black women are all horrible. So they say, well, let me go just date Becky. Let me go get a white woman because black women don't know how to act, right? And so ultimately, what was also interesting about that, this is another piece that's really important in terms of understanding how the culture works, is not one of those journalistic outlets, thousands of them wrote the article, but not one of them actually wanted to hear my point of view. Not one of them called and said, well, Dr. Watkins, what did you mean? Dr. Watkins, you have all this education. Why would you say something like that? That sounded terrible, right? And I would say, I get it. I understand why you would think it sounds terrible, but let me explain. If you look at the top 10 causes of death for black people, unfortunately, police shootings is nowhere on the list. But what is on the list is heart disease. What is on the list is diabetes. What is on the list is cancer, which is connected to all these comorbidities. What is on the list in COVID, when we were dying from the virus, is all these comorbidities related to obesity. So I don't. So I stand by. I had to stand by everything that I said because I believe in truth. I believe in facts. I believe that delusions cause us to die and to suffer, right? Because we're trying to hold on to an illusion that has no basis in fact. And so So it was interesting. I wasn't really affected by it because I understand how it works. And they really couldn't get me say economically. I told you that there was the A.G. Gaston Society down in Birmingham, Alabama, which I had a wonderful time with the previous year. They really enjoyed me as a speaker. They canceled my speech, and but I didn't care about that because my fee was 10,000 or something, and they paid half in advance, and I was like, well, I get to stay home with my family anyway, and I didn't need the money, but I was actually quite concerned. I said because I don't I really I saw your eyes and I saw how you all the leadership enjoyed having me as a speaker. So what I'm hearing is not so much that you feel this way, but whoever is paying your bills feels this way. And as a financial expert, I'm deeply concerned about the number of black organizations that don't know how to pay their own bills, right? And because I understand the power of money. Money has a type of power where money literally steals your freedom of speech. Money steals your freedom of choice. Money steals, but money decides who you can be friends with and who you can't be friends with. So the number one source of black oppression in America, the number one source of black people not having a voice, the number one reason black people don't have freedom of movement, freedom of choice, freedom of anything in many cases is because you never learned how to financially take care of yourself. You never learned any of the keys and the fundamentals of financial independence and freedom. That's what you never learned. Because the thing is, the reason I didn't care I observed the response to the Lizzo thing, but I never once woke up and said, "Oh gosh, babe, I think I might need to change. I might need to issue an apology, cause no, sir. I think carefully about every word that comes out of my mouth. I stand by every single thing I have said in public since I was 25 years old, and I ain't 25 no more. I got enough grays in my hair, but that was a long time ago. I've always been a thinker. I was teaching college students at the University of Kentucky and in Indiana University when I was 22 years old. So you're not talking to a stupid man. You're not talking to a man who doesn't process things. I definitely don't want to be an evil man. But at the end of the day, it's like, um, maybe you need to think about your behavior and ask yourself if what we've been doing so far is actually working. I really do. I really think that any person, I challenge any black person that ever has an issue with anything that you might hear come out of my mouth. I would just ask you, how's it been going for you? How has your strategy, this whole like let's hope that white people will pay our bills and still let us do what we want and still allow us to build wealth and allow us to rebuild our families and allow us to have real power in this society. How's that working for you? We know the answer to that question. We know it ain't working. So what I would just say at the end, so just circling back on the Lizzo thing was I was like, it doesn't affect me because I'm me and my kids, me and my family, we're gonna be solid. I talk to them every day about the dysfunction of our society and hope that they'll listen to me and not fall into those traps. I'm not worried about the money. The money you can keep the money. I wasn't doing it for the money. I wasn't going down. I don't like traveling. I like to be next to my wife because my wife is gorgeous. I love my wife. So I want to be home with her. I didn't even want to do it. I was doing it because I respect you, but but now it's sort of like I know how these things work. Somebody who's paying your bills said you can't associate with that Negro right there because he's disrupting the agenda that we've chosen to believe in. And that's exactly what they do to Farrakhan all the time. They do that all the time. I had an event I was going to do with the Minister Farrakhan. We were going to go to the University of Illinois Chicago, and I think it was like 2013. And we had arranged with the black students on that campus to come to the campus and host an event. We were going to co-host it together, and it was related to a book I wrote years ago. You could probably find it somewhere on Amazon. I don't talk about it much, but it's a short read. I think it's called Wealth, Education, Family, and Community: A New Paradigm for Black America. And we're actually the official title was It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. It takes a village to raise the bar. That's the official title. Search for that if you want to find it. And so the minister agreed to join me, which I appreciated so much because I have a lot of respect for this man. And we were all set up to go. We had everything prepared. And lo and behold, right before it happened, the Jewish students got a hold of the fact that we were coming to the campus, and suddenly they just canceled everything. They canceled everything. And so, fortunately, there was a black church in the south side of Chicago that did host us, and so we still had the event. But it was little incidents like this that reminded me that the lack of black institutional power, which is linked to the lack of black economic independence, causes us to not be able to move the way we want to move. The reality is that if you're talking about trying to be strong and black and powerful, you're gonna have to do that on your own. You don't have no allies up in this sucker. You ain't nobody out here really sitting here cheering for the black community to truly be powerful. That's not happening. That's not going to happen. Nobody wants you black man to be on top of the world. Nobody want they like you better when you are a broken, weak little baby that needs to be protected. That's when they like you. Go out if you want their sympathy, go out and get shot by a cop or something. Go do something stupid and get shot by the police or whatever. Then they'll feel sorry for you, right? Or become homeless or something. Or get hooked on drugs and be a homeless man. Then they'll have some sympathy for you. But when you show up and you've done your homework and you're fully prepared to compete with the world, you're not going to really have a lot of teammates other than people that look like yourself. Other than even some black people won't be teammates with you. There are a lot of black people I've met that became obstacles, and I ain't scared of them neither. I feel sorry for them. I say, well, you could try to fight me if you want to, but you're probably going to lose because you don't even know who the hell you are. I know who I am. I can talk and I don't just stutter when I talk. I don't have to really. I think about what I say carefully, and when I decide that God told me that this is the right thing to say, I'm gonna say it. I don't have to ask for permission from my boss. I don't have to worry about what the Democrats or the Republicans are going to think about what I say. I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to lose friends. I don't I'm under the assumption that the friends that I have are very solid people, and the ones I don't have are not meant to be my friends in the first place. So ultimately, what I believe is that if you're talking about us really trying to win this economic game, we're going to have to strip down to the core and be honest with ourselves about what we have and what we don't have, what we need to do and what we have to stop doing, and really sort of confronting some of the nonsense and not promoting ignorance, not promoting the things that we know are making us unhealthy and dysfunctional. And a lot of you are already doing that, and I applaud you for that. And the reason I'm even sharing all these stories with you is because I want to just encourage you. Keep on going. Be consistent. Know who you are. I'm gonna end on this. I told our daughter, our youngest daughter, the other day, because she's 14, and 14-year-olds can be mean to each other. And she's on the dance team, and apparently some of the girls were kind of, you know how girls do, the mean girl stuff. And I told her, I said, I'm sorry. I said, but the reality is that you are talented, you are intelligent, you are a hard worker. You could be a model if you wanted to. And one day you're going to be really successful in your life. And I'm gonna just tell you like this, that not everybody's gonna like that. That's gonna trigger a lot of insecurities from a lot of people, and you're gonna get some opposition. And I said, but here's the deal. If you know who you are and you love yourself to the core and you are determined and committed to the path that God put you on, then the rest of the world is going to move out of the way. The world is not full of people that are comfortable with who they are and where they're going. The world is full of people that will look to the left and look to the right to see where everybody else is going so they can make sure that they fit in and follow the crowd and they're not going to be criticized for it. That's what the world is full of. And so if you're a person that, and this is what I told her, and I'm gonna share this with y'all. If you know who the hell you are and where you're going and what you're supposed to do, punk ass people like that are gonna move out of the way. They're gonna move out of the way because they're gonna realize that they're running into a rock. You're not a pebble, you're not a leaf, you're a rock, and you're clear in your direction and clear in your path. And that's what I think the black community could embrace. That will help us to achieve our goals. None of these things about closing the racial wealth gap are difficult. There's nothing hard about closing the racial wealth gap, I swear to you. The math is easy. It's easy math. It just requires a little bit of courage. It requires you to have the courage to think freely and to pursue the solution wherever it lies without believing the solution lies within the Democrat or Republican parties, without believing that the solution lies inside a broken culture, without believing that the solution lies within following the crowd. This is hard. This is hard in certain ways. It's really hard to build stable families in a world where we don't even believe that black fathers matter anymore. It's really hard to build economic independence where everybody's telling you that you need to go and get that job, that you gave up that good job at the post office. What's wrong with you, right? It's hard to sort of figure out how to be your absolute best in a world where if you are a black male college student who wants to study 8 hours a day, people will make fun of you. That's difficult, right? So building character is as important as building wealth. If you want to build wealth, a great way to build wealth is to build character first. When you build character, then your wealth will become a reflection of your character. The wealth does not define who you are. The wealth becomes a symptom of who you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? You build from the inside, and then the outside starts to reflect what's on the inside. The external is a reminder of the internal. It does not define the internal. So the question at the end of the day that all of us have to ask ourselves is, who the hell are you? What kind of man are you? What kind of woman are you? What are you? What person are you? Are you a person that's pursuing mental and physical health, healthy relationships, economic security, all these things that build a wealthy life? Are you the person that's pursuing these things and learning these things, or are you a person that's allowing your fate to be shaped by what everybody else is doing? Because we know for a fact, if you look at the data and you look around, if you look at all Americans, not even just black people, most it seems like a lot of people really are suffering right now and struggling because they're not thinking about these things every morning. But believe me, I am, and we're talking about this, and I applaud you for coming in because I think it's going to make a big difference in your life. Okay. So anyway, let me get out of here. Couple things to remind you of is number one, Friday night we're doing our another financial slumber party. That's where we get together on a private Zoom at 11 o'clock at night, and we listen to music and have fun. And but we also study financial topics. And this week's topic is going to be called "Flip That Check: The Keys to Financial Security." So basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to have slides and PowerPoints, and we're going to go through the steps to understanding financial security, how to obtain it, how to know if you have it, things like that. If you go to financialslumberparty.com, there's a cost to join if you want to join. It's not expensive, and you can share your one ticket with your whole family. So bring your whole family. I want the more the merrier. I know a few hundred of you came to the last one, so I'd love to have thousands of you come in for that on Friday. That's Friday night at 11. If you go to financialslumberparty.com, you can take a look. I'll also send a link out. So text the word, if you want to be on the text list, text the word morning to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948. One more thing, tomorrow we are going to do stock options for Prime class. So if you are a Prime member, if you want to be a Prime member, just go to drboyceprime.com, or you can also text the word options to the number 87948. Text options to 87948. This is an interesting stock market. There's a lot happening right now, and there's a lot of opportunity there. And so there's strategies you can apply that will help you to deal with the chaos that's occurring in the markets right now. I think that's everything. So God bless you guys. Have a good day, and I will see you all tomorrow morning as well. Take care now. Bye bye. Oh, what time? Oh yeah, tomorrow Prime meets at 8:30. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So I'll send links and invitations. So